I think every leather goods factory in India has first had its major share with a German importer before it's actually moved anywhere else. In that sense, I would probably call the German importers a kind of a training school for the first time factory owners in Kolkata or anywhere else in India. It would be rare to find a factory, or maybe the numbers are a lot less, let's put it that way, if you look at percentages, of people who would have actually worked with other countries before they worked with Germany. But these people are basically, they're importers or they're sellers to other resellers in Germany, like departmental stores, like Kaufhof, and Karstadt. So all these German importers are listed with these big departmental stores and mail order houses, which is big business in Germany, and boutiques, of course. And most of these good importers are basically second generation manufacturers themselves. Their fathers have run factories, like is the case with my current customer. We have problems at work for sure, because India is a very difficult country to work with, especially if you're working with somebody perfect like the Germans. So there's a huge cultural thing there as well, I think. The customers understand, for sure, like Klaus understands, but he cannot understand beyond a point. When his customers are giving him help, he knows the Indian conditions, but there are a lot of things that he cannot handle after a particular point. So even though he would understand, he would prefer not to understand. Let's put it that way. Because when he's getting badgering calls from his customers about deliveries, and we have so many issues here in India with our kind of culture, we have so many holidays, we have so many multicultural people working in the same factory who have their various holidays, So the Bengalis have their set of holidays, and the other non-Bengali Hindus have their set of holidays, and the Muslims have their holidays. And when you have somebody in your chain system, in the manufacturing or in the packing or in some supply link who fails because there's a Muslim holiday, then the rest of the chain breaks. Now, this is very difficult to make any European customer understand, because everything is delivery bound, schedule bound, targeted bound. We have a lot of battles here, and at times there are goods that don't get produced and we get delayed by at times months, which is not explainable or explicable to a German customer. But that's the difficulty which comes, even though we understand each other's cultures. I mean, I know how strict a German would be in terms of quality, in terms of it's the way they are in their daily life as well. It's just not about the work. It's probably the same between a husband and a wife. I mean, they're perfect with each other, I guess. They'd be punctual for each other as well, I guess. In India, we would never be punctual for our own wives. After Europe became very expensive to manufacture, so that's when the factory owners started looking at wine from those days. We were an underdeveloped country. Now we are, I think, a very developed country, even though we're still called a developing country, but I think we are pretty developed. So we may not be amongst the rich nations, but I think we're getting there. Economy is strong. So they used to rely a lot on us for the leather goods thing. So this trade has been around for a good, closing on to over 45 years now, I think, if not 50. So even though somebody like me who has the experience of working with a German for 22 odd years, and I know exactly what is needed, but I'm not a one-person army. After all, there's an army that I have to take care of. And there are a lot of links and there are failures. So it's a tough call. We have to manage. We have to manage. We're a multicultural country. Germany has a few cultures. You have the Bavarian culture and you have the other cultures, but they're all very educated cultures. Our problem is that we have people who work for us and indirectly work for the Germans, who are workers. They don't understand these things. They only know their payrolls, and that's all they know. It's very difficult to work with a German, but once they begin to work with you, you have to be really, really bad for them to throw you out. So they give you that much of scope. So very difficult to enter, equally difficult to exit, but once you're thrown out, he'll never take you on again. That's for sure. It was very difficult in the initial days to imagine him not having his naan with the fork and the knife. So, German, my God, how could he use his hands? I says, no, Klaus, the Indian kebabs and the Indian naans are meant to be eaten with your hands. And he really learned fast, and he loves his Indian food, and he loves the culture. We got into a lot of that in those stages. I think the Europeans basically, and also the Germans, find India very interesting in that sense. It's so different as a culture from what they have been taught, brought up, seen. Especially in the leather goods industry, the customers have been working with India for a long time now. And particularly the Germans who belong to this industry know the Indian culture well. Somehow. Because they've been to the homes of the factory owners, they've known the families, they've worked very closely, and they know the Indian culture very well. I found that amongst the German importers of leather goods especially. Because they travel to India often and they learn the culture, they eat the food. And as you know, we Indians are great hosts, so automatically we take a customer into the family, and he would attend my parties with my friends, so he got to know a lot. Because he was also young. Today is exactly the same age as I am. So he's a typical German, absolute German, to the point that he'd be so perfect that when we'd fight, and I'd call him a Nazi. So, like my juniors in the office, whenever they read Klaus's mails, I mean, they shake with terror, because I told them, don't worry, it's just the fact that he's German. He doesn't mean it. It's just the way that they feel, that they write, but when he talks, he's completely different. It's the German way of writing. When the German writes, it's far more strong in language, because he thinks in German and he translates into English, so the stronger words come out automatically. And I think that's, at least for me, Klaus is everything that epitomizes Germany in German, so I think that's pretty German that way, because I find him a very regular German. So,
what is a regular German?
Somebody who's like Klaus, like I just described Klaus, Mr. Perfect.
Like precise and
very precise,
punctual and
very precise, very
precise,
very systematic, extremely punctual. He is what a archetypical German would be, surely. I mean, that's the way I find it. He's there in his office, he and his wife, come rain, thunder, snow, sun. He's there at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is the earliest that even I have known any German to attend office. Yeah, so his secretary, Sonia Billig, Frau Sonia Billig, she is in the office at about 5 minutes to 7. She's the first one to open the warehouse and office gates, and it could be snowing. I kind of equipped myself before I travelled, so I wasn't going to make a fool of myself. To eat the Western way, as we call it. So there I was at least equipped. So, but as far as other things are concerned, yes, a lot of things about the German culture, and I would always tell Klaus one thing, that whenever I'm there, I say I don't want to go to any star restaurants. I want to go to these typical German inns and pubs, because I really want to feel, and that's what he always do and even do till today. I can remember the places so beautifully, and I really, really love going there. It's the one thing I love about going to Germany. I really enjoy the evenings. I've been once for Oktoberfest, so that was fun. Oh, I was just there probably on the last day, and by that time I think half of Germany was drunk on beer. So, it's quite crazy. I mean, if you're out on the streets and people are having so much of fun, and it doesn't look like a German community anymore, because everybody's having so much of fun, which doesn't look like that all the time, in that sense. This whole thing about the Germans not being very receptive is not known to me, at least, for sure. Because whoever I've met, I've worked with various Germans, and with very different kind of cultures and backgrounds, and I've all found them very warm and receptive people. In fact, there are some of these Germans that I know who are salespeople who come down to India often, who do speak a bit of our language as well. Thoda thoda, and they talk to my workers and they say a few words. So they take the effort of actually knowing a few words. Probably so that they can put my workers a little more comfortable. The worker immediately knows that he's very comfortable, and so it becomes a bit easy. So,
Do you speak any German?
no, I don't. I think the Germans prefer it that way, especially in business, that I don't understand what they're saying. The year before, I was there on the first week of December. So we went to this Christmas market, and Isabel bought me a box of
Lebkuchen.
chocolates and cookies, which was just specially made for Christmas.
Lebkuchen.
Absolutely. I wasn't getting the word. No.
Lebkuchen.
Absolutely. And it was,
You like that?
I loved it.